Welcome to the show, your weekly hit of running, cycling and everything that keeps us moving. I'm Damien and today we are recapping the drama of the Spring Classics on two wheels, celebrating some British performances on the road and trails and zooming in right where it's happening, on our own Essex backyard. We are heading into London Marathon Week, which is always an exciting time for a British running calendar, whether you're tapering for the big one or hunting down PBs at your local park run, or just getting out on the bike on a Tuesday evening. This show is for you. We start with the big three Spring Classics that delivered absolute drama. First up, Milan-San Remo on the 21st of March. Tadej Pogačar did what Pogačar does. He attacked, he crashed, and he still won in 6 hours 35 minutes. But right on his wheel in second place was our very own Tom Pidcock. Pidcock took a stunning second place, same time as the winner. That's a massive result for British cycling. Wout van Aert rounded out the podium in third. What a way to kick off Monument season. Then came the Tour of Flanders on the 5th of April. Pogačar made it 3 wins in a row, winning in 6 hours 20 minutes and equaling the record. Mathieu van der Poel took second and Remco Evenepoel took third. No Brits in the absolute top 10, but Connor Swift and British cycling champion Sam Watson were out mixing it up and showing great fighting spirit. And last week, Paris-Roubaix, the hell of the north as they call it. It's a great cycle event to watch and I do hope to make it there next year with some friends. Wout van Aert finally got his monument monkey off his back, out-sprinting Pogačar in the Roubaix Velodrome to take the win in 5 hours 16 minutes. Jasper Stuyven was third and Mathieu van der Poel in fourth. Another brutal, beautiful day on the Cobbolds. British highlights of the classics, definitely Pidcock's podium in San Remo. That's the kind of result that fires everyone up. What did you think of the racing? Drop us a voice note or a message. We love hearing your takes. The website is www.inmotion.club. Over to the roads and the fast times. In February, we had the Barcelona half marathon. Hagos Gebrevet took the win in a world-leading 58.05. On the British side, the women shone. Sam Harrison was first Brit in 9th overall with a time of 1:09. Followed closely by Jess Warner-Judd and Louise Small. In the men's race, Andy Butchart clocked a strong PB of 1:01.45. Next, the Berlin half marathon at the end of March. Kenyan Andrea Kiptu won in a time of 59.11, but the British men showed real depth. First Brit was Phil Sessamon in 1:01.21, 16th overall. In second place was our friend of the SMD show, Jake Smith, in a time of 1:02.07. And third place for the Brits was Mark Scott in a time of 1:02.50. That's proper strength in depth. Brilliant to see. And I do want to give a shout out to Ben Felton for going sub 1:05. That's incredible. And he was actually the 4th Brit to cross the line and the first non-elite to cross the line, if I am correct. Please do correct me, Ben, if you listen. The Seville half marathon was another fast one, with Shakira Kitata winning in 2:03.59. It didn't have a huge British elite representatives this year, but as always, a reminder of just how quick and flat a fast course can be. And today, the Adidas Manchester Marathon. What a brilliant day for those flat, spectator-lined streets of Greater Manchester, perfect PB territory, and thousands of club runners that made the most of it. Huge congratulations to everyone who finished, especially any of you who grabbed a new personal best. The electric Mancunian atmosphere always delivers, and any standout or age group performances from Manchester today or from these earlier races, please send them in to inmotion.club. We want to give you a shout out. Right, eyes forward. And this is the part where we look at the races on the horizon and everything happening right here in Essex and the surrounding areas. First, the big national one. The TCS London Marathon on Sunday 26th of April. Home soil magic, one of the strongest elite fields in years. Unfortunately, Emil Caress has had to pull out due to injury, and he did have hopes of targeting Mo Farah's British record, but we'll have to save that one for another day. Other British hopes are Mohammed and his PB is 2:07.05. Phil Sessamon, his PB is 2:07.10. Patrick Diva 2:08.58, plus a really deep supporting cast, including Wayner, Gabriel Selassie, Tueldi, Menges, Jake Smith, Mark Scott, Jack Rowe, and more. British women, Charlotte Purdue, her PB is 2:22.17. Rose Harvey, 2:23.21. Abby Donnelly, 2:24.11. Eilish McColgan, Jess Warner-Judd, and others like Stephanie Twell and Lucy Reed. Internationally, the men's field is stacked, with defending champion Sebastian Saur. His PB is 2:02.5. Jacob Kiplimo, his PB is 2:02.23. And Darisa Galetta, PB of 2:02.38. Amos Kiprota, Tamita Tola, I love that guy. Jeffrey Kamara, Joshua Cheptegei. The women's elite is equally explosive, headlined by Tisk Asefa. 2:11.53 is her PB, and she is the defending champion. Perez Chepkida, Joycelyn Chepkoskai, Helen Abiri, and others. Expect serious fireworks, and I really do apologise for my pronunciations. Now, on a more personal note, this morning I took my son down to the EAL Athletics League at the Braintree University track. He runs for Braintree District Athletics Club, and it was brilliant to see him compete in under 12s 600 metres. He did really, really well in that, and I'm so proud. He also took part in the 75 metre sprint. We were there supporting Braintree runners and just enjoying the day of grassroots athletics in general. It's days like that we remind ourselves why we all love the sport so much. And right on our doorsteps, the Radley Pro Flycarb 5K spring launch on Saturday the 25th of April at the Colchester Sports Park Gateway cycling track. This is a flat, super fast 5K you've been waiting for. It's the opener of the Golden Bowl series, and I catch up with my SMD running podcast partner, Scott Darney, for a quick catch up. So let's dive into that. Hey, Scott, it's been a while since we've been on a podcast together. How have you been? What have you been up to? And what's in the pipeline?
Hi, Damo. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, it's probably been over 6 months now. Lots of talk about podcasts, but finally getting one together. Training-wise, nothing really to update you on, which not going to surprise too many people. But in the background, I've been working on a big project, which I'm sure we're going to get into. It's pretty much consuming all of my time. Kicked off this year. And yeah, happy to talk about that if you want.
Cool. And what is this new project? Please tell me.
It's called Tempo. So this is like a joint venture between myself and William Radley, who I know from Whittam Running Club. Been coaching him through the marathon for a little while as well. So he supported the Colchester FNR last year. So his company sponsored the race, put together some prize money, put together some money for hotels and accommodation for some of the elite runners. And we just wanted to do a bit more, basically. So we were obviously grateful for what ATW were doing with the FNR and allowing us to come on board and sponsor it and bring the athletes to the races. But I think we wanted to have a bit more control over everything else. And so we did, and we decided to set up kind of an events company. And that's how Tempo was born.
Brilliant. Can you give us an overview of Tempo Radley and how the partnership with Flycarb for the Golden Bowl race series came about?
Yes. Tempo Radley, it's mainly Tempo, but it's supported by Radley, which is William's company. So it's part of the sort of Radley group. And we, as I say, we're an events company, but we're not trying to reinvent the wheel in terms of how events are run. I'm trying to use the experience that I've gained from working on the Colchester FNR and obviously running in races myself to see if we can bring, not necessarily something different, but just bring everything in line and see if we can put on a really good event that's sort of athlete focused and great for the spectators, because I think the growth of the Colchester FNR, it's got to a level where there's so much we can do with it. If if we had our own race and we were able to do the bits that we wanted to do. So that's how it came about. And one of the sort of unique sort of aspects of what we're trying to do, which is different to most events companies or companies that put on races, is that we're trying to reinvest the profits back into an athlete support scheme, athlete support program. And that is to support Essex athletes who may be sort of at the top end of Essex sort of level, if you know what I mean, or maybe even beyond that, sort of national level runners, but just maybe outside that area where they're getting picked up by sponsors, or maybe on the cusp of getting picked up by a sponsor, but not quite there yet, for one reason or another. I mean, because a lot of runners have the talent and the ability that fit that criteria, but maybe they're not as active on socials, or maybe not running the right races for one reason or another. And part of that profit that we make is going into that support program to help these Essex athletes.
So how does the athlete program? How does it work? Who does it support? And why is it so important to launch it right now?
Well, sorry, just to go back on the Flycarb bit as well. We I don't know if you're aware that last year in the Colchester FNR we invited Flycarb to come down, and they're another brand that provide sort of bicarb lactate buffering solution for runners. That's like a startup. It was by runners for runners. So we wanted to support them by giving them the platform at the race to sell their product, meet the runners that they already sell to in Essex. So that was the introduction. We invited them down and got to know those guys, and then the way that this event series, we wanted to bring them in some way or another into this, either the company or in some of our races. So we had a conversation with them, and they, funny enough, said, we're looking to put a 5K on in April. They didn't have much luck in Cambridge. There was a few hurdles and a few obstacles that they were struggling with, and they said, well, actually, one of them was the venue. So they said, we're thinking about having it at Colchester. How would you guys like to put that event on? So that's how that started, and that turned into a series of events that they're now sort of partnering with us on.
So those guys at Flycarb are pretty good runners as well, aren't they?
Jack and Josh. Yeah, Josh is a sub 4 minute miler. Jack is a England international who has run 13:39 or 40. I've got to say somewhere around that for 5K, and represented England at the Armagh 5K just a month back in March. So yeah, they're very good runners, which helps. So that's the partnership with Flycarb, and I think that it's really been mutually beneficial for both of us as well.
Is there a bigger vision behind this Flycarb series?
Let's see how it goes. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, because we've got a race in 2 weeks' time, less than 2 weeks now. We've got following the first race, the Flycarb 5K. We've then got the Flycarb 5 mile summer festival in July, and then the Flycarb 5 mile autumn classic in November. So we've got a series of races.
These are all open races as well, aren't they? Like anyone from anywhere can enter, can't they?
Yeah, they will have elite fields, but they're not elite races as such.
Yeah.
Where we want them to be open to all levels of runner.
Cool. Any name drops of any elites you've got entered into this spring one?
Yeah, I mean, in the women's race, we've got Esme Davies is already a sub 16-minute 5K runner. We've got the Jordan Lee sisters back. They entered the one of them entered the Colchester race. Sadly, the other was injured, but believe both of them are in this race. I'm not even going to guess which one, and I hope they're not offended that I can't remember which one it is. But one of the girls ran sub 16 in Lille, I believe, Lille 5K, and the other ran a really fast 10K time as well. So I think they're both in good shape, and they're just sort of returning from a training camp.
Yeah, I've seen some of their videos on Instagram. Actually, it does look. It's what dreams are made of, to be training somewhere like that. Hey,
That's it. Yeah. Alongside that, we've got Jake Smith's sister Molly Smith, which probably doing a bit of disservice there by naming her as Jake's sister. She's a very talented runner in her own right. And she's going to be running in the women's elite. Well, there's not a women's elite race. It's going to be mixed, but she'll be running. Jade Morgan, Katie Pye. And then from Essex, we've got Kai Malenga. She's going to be looking for a good time as well. So that's the women's race, but we've also got a few fast men. Jack's going to be pacing around 13:40, so it's going to be a very quick 5K. At that top end, I know that we're going to have the likes of Charlie Brisley, Freddie Richardson, Ben Alcock, Michael Clark as well. Freddie's probably, one of the favourites up there because he's coming off the back of a 13:42 podium 5K in March. We've got Michael Murphy travelling over from Ireland. And then the likes of Callum Charleston, Essex runner, who got a top 10 in the National Cross Country Championship. So he's coming off the back of a solid result as well.
Sounds like a stacked field, as they say.
It certainly is, yeah. And there's a few that are sort of around the 14:20 mark as well. So it's not just that sharp front end. I think we've got a number of fast athletes running in the race.
Really good to hear. Sorry, just scooting back to the athlete program, where we were just talking about if there was any particular athletes that you've now taken on, how are you going to support these athletes and why it's so important to launch it right this moment?
Yeah, so I mean, the importance of launching it right now is that we can, if you know what I mean. Like we're in a position that we have learnt from the races that we've both been involved in, and we basically wanted to launch as soon as we could possibly launch something. We wanted to. So the company's up and running now. Tempo. The athlete support program is not. It has been launched, but it's not. The framework is still being decided. So we're still sort of going to consider how athletes apply, what sort of criteria they need to meet. But what we have done in advance of, cementing down how that's all going to work, we did invite Freddie Richardson to have a conversation with us about, firstly, before we support athletes, we didn't want to go to them and say, right, come to us and this is what we're going to give you. And then, dictate exactly what we're going to offer and what we can provide. We wanted to speak to an athlete and say, well, if we could support you, how could we support you? And Freddie sat down and had a conversation with us about it. And that led to us being able to support him for the Podium 5K, where he got his PB, 13:42. And we provided him with travel and accommodation expenses. And we gave him a nice new pair of shoes, pair of Mizuno Hyperwave Pure, I believe. And also a kit to wear. So he had a Tempo kit that he was wearing. Hopefully he'll be wearing the same at the Flycarb 5K. So yeah, that was it was important for us to, if we're going to promote an athlete support program, and if we're going to say to people, this is what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve, and this is our purpose, then I felt it was important that we actually had some concrete evidence that that's what we're going to do. So that's why we sort of brought Freddie in and we thought, okay, let's do something, let's help him, and let's support an athlete so that people can see that that's what we're trying to do. And now we just want that to grow and we want to expand on that. I don't know if we're in a position yet to start adding athletes to that. I think we're going to have to wait until we've, finished the race. But Freddie will be a Tempo athlete on the day as well, wearing Tempo kit. Then going forward, we just want to help as many as we can. That's going to be restricted by finances, how much profit we make, and also the kind of athletes that we're looking for. So maybe by the end of the year we'll have a handful, and I think that would be success if we could have supported, 4 or 5 athletes by the end of the year in some capacity.
Sounds like a really exciting time for because you just don't hear of anything like that around, especially locally. Doesn't generally seem to be much support for like these young up and coming athletes, or athletes that have this potential that just need a little bit of funding just to get to the next step. It sounds like you're doing a really good job. I love the concept, and looking forward to seeing how Freddie gets on as well.
It's not necessarily that there's no support out there, because of course there's running clubs that support these athletes by the coaching that they provide. Some of them even have some, potentially some financial support to some of these athletes. So we're not saying it doesn't exist. We're just saying that there could be more, and events like ours, if we can support those athletes, and I know that there are definitely athletes out there that need it. So that for me says that it's something worth doing. If there was plenty of companies out there doing what we're doing already, then we possibly wouldn't need to do it. But because there aren't, that's why we're doing it, basically.
It's a really good concept. And like I said, looking forward to seeing how Freddie gets on, and also to see the development of the concept as well. So that's really good. So for these races that are coming up, why should people sign up for them, especially for those who might be on the fence?
Well, firstly, you're supporting the athlete support program. So indirectly, some of that profit will go. Well, I say indirectly, we've got overheads and we've got expenses we need to pay, and then what's left, we're going to sort of divvy it out and try and support who we can. So that is the goal. That's what we're trying to do with the money that we make. So you're not just putting your money into someone's pocket, who's trying to make money. And not that, again, that's not to say there's anything wrong with that. Like everyone's got to earn a living some way. But that's what we hope will set us apart and make us a little bit different from some of those other event companies. So that's one reason. The second is that we've got a really good circuit in Colchester. It's a pancake flat, 1 kilometre looped course. It's absolutely perfect, really, for any level of racing. You could have international races there, I reckon. You could have, world-class races there. It's brilliant. There's a nice forecourt for you to put all your resources and, pizza van and things like that. And there's a big open track that you can use. You can, so when we're quite excited by, no matter how small the first event is, there's so much potential there. And we want this to be, and that's why we've called the summer event the Summer Festival. So this is our launch event. This will be our first event. We're gonna, there'll be things that we might learn from this event, if that makes sense. Obviously we're going to do the best that we can on the day for the athletes that turn up, but there'll potentially things that we change when we have the summer festival, and we want that to be a big event. We've called it a festival because we want it to be a festival of running, really. There's going to be live music, so there'll be a DJ there, same DJ that we have had for the Colchester FNR, so Rick's going to be there. And we're hoping it's going to be a great atmosphere, both for the supporters and for the runners.
Sounds really good. One thing I was just about to ask was what should people expect on race day, but I think you've just covered that, unless there was anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, I mean, it's we just want it to be like a friendly, fun, atmosphere, and which enables people to also have a fast and serious race if they want to. Like, it's not obviously the guys in the front, like the last race, guys and girls, sorry, in the last races are going to be going for PBs. They're going to be running for, really fast times. But that's not to say that you can't just turn up and run 5K for fun. This event is for anyone. yeah, I think it's important to say that and to let people know that whilst there is going to be a strong elite field, it's not. We're not categorising it as an elite race. We're categorising it as a 5K for everyone.
But also, as I see, you've got paces from sub 30 to sub 14. So it's a huge opportunity for those chasing that PB to go and get it.
Yeah, exactly. And this was, funny enough, this was one of Flycarb's suggestions and something they wanted to bring to the Colchester race. But unfortunately, we weren't able to allow them to pace that race because it's a county championship race. So you're not allowed pacers in county championship events. And that, of course, is the Essex County 5K Road Champs. I don't know how many times I need to say that, but it felt necessary. So anyway, we don't have that. We don't have that obstacle for this race. It's not a county championship event. It's not a championship event of any kind other than the Golden Bowl Series. And because that Golden Bowl Series is our own, we can do what we want. And that means that we can have pacers for this event, and Flycarb will be providing the pacers for, I believe it's actually going to be 13:40 up to 20 minutes. And then we're going to also provide pacers mainly from Whittam Running Club if we can, for 21 up to 30 minutes. But it's interesting. Have a look on the website. There's going to be some details of the pacers released soon. They're not necessarily going to. What is the website? It's tempo.redley.pro.
Brilliant. Okay.
And the Instagram is tempo.redley. But so there's going to be a 13:40 pacer. That'll be Jack. And I believe like a 14:50 pacer. So that'll get for those guys that are want to get under 15 minutes.
Yep. Is that you?
Yeah, that'll be me. Yeah. On my bike. There will also, I think there's going to be a 15:30, but don't quote me on that. Like all the details will be on the website, and everyone will be able to see the pacing details soon. So just keep an eye on that. Again, the details will be, if they're not already on Instagram, I need to post them up. But you basically earn points for each of the races. It's your best 3 results out of the 4 races, so you don't have to run in all of them. But if you run in 3 and you do well, then there's a prize at the end for. And we're hoping it's going to be an actual golden Flycarb bowl. Probably not real solid gold because that might be a bit too expensive. But it'll be it'll be a nice prize.
Nice one. Thanks for the catch up. That's been really good.
Cheers, Damo. And let me ask, how are you? And what have you been up to?
I've spent 18 months in sports rehab, but I'm slowly getting back to some sort of strength and fitness. But I guess when we get a little bit older, we need to focus on the strength side just as much as the cardio. So that's very balanced. Bike, a little bit of running, a little bit of swimming, and 2 or 3 gym sessions a week. So maybe I'll be able to participate in some sort of cycle race or road. I would love to do like a half marathon next year. That's the plan, to build up to something. But for the next 4 to 6 months, I'm just going to keep working on the cycling because it doesn't seem to hinder any of my issues that I have had. But over the last 4 or 5 days has been the first time in 2 years that I haven't had issues with my right leg. So there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I think some positivity.
So if you're looking to enter a bike race, there's one in France in July, I believe, called the Tour de France. Like that's probably about your sort of I wouldn't be surprised to see you entering that.
I've calculated that it would take me about 15 years to get that fit. Actually, from where I'm at now, it would take me about 15 years of dedication. I'd have to leave my family, go to a training camp, eat like an athlete, train like an athlete. 15 years, I reckon, and I'll be there.
So when do you start?
I don't know if my family would be best pleased, if I did that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of. I mean, there's a Farley Hospice ride in the summer. Well, maybe we'll do that one together.
You got Helen Rollerson in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's do. I've got my bike now, so let's do that.
Let's get out on the bike. Yeah, do you know what I would like to? I'd like to start doing the Tuesday night at Colchester. They do the 1 hour plus 4 laps race, or something like that.
Okay,
that's a series at same place, Colchester Sports Park. They've had 2 races, so it's every Tuesday. They've had 2 races so far. They would have had the 3rd this Tuesday.
Excellent. Yeah, sounds good.
I reckon if I train well for 2 or 3 weeks, I might be able to jump in on. But I will finish last for sure, and I'll get beaten by 75-year-old guys and 10-year-old kids because cycling.
It's humbling.
Yeah, cycling is a whole different level of fitness. I'm sure. I entered into a 4-stage last summer, and I thought I was doing. I'd put in about 200 miles a week work and lots of gym and strength, and I came 3rd from last over the whole lot over the 4 days. So and that was me suffering bad as well. But
yeah, you did it though. You gave it a go.
I did. It's true. And it hurt differently. That's for sure. But yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do your first race, pick a 4-day event.
I did a time trial about 3 weeks before that, and I checked out UK average time trials, and I thought I'm a little bit better than average. I'll enter in a race now. That was the method behind my thinking. Yeah, I don't think I'm ready for Tour de France, and it's coming through the UK in 2027. Don't you think that I haven't already thought about that?
Well, of course you have. I know you have.
All right, mate. Cheers for that. Good to talk to you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, cheers, Damo. We'll catch up again soon, maybe.
Cool. Now let's talk about events that keep our local community moving week in, week out. So I'm talking about park runs. They're a 5K timed race or a run. I mean, I believe if you say ready, steady, go, or marks, get set, go, it's a race. And if it's timed, you're always going to try. But it's a hard effort if you want it to be, or it could be a social jog and a meet up with friends. They take place at various places, locations around the UK and internationally, actually, all at 9 a.m. And you can register on parkrun.org.uk and you can take part in all of them. On Sundays, they offer a 2K park run for juniors. Not all park runs offer that, but a lot do, and they are really good for the kids, really good for the family, and adults can run alongside them as well. They just can't clock their time. But yeah, locally, we've got Colchester Castle, Malden Prom, Great Notley and Chelmsford. I know they do the adults and the junior park run, and another favourite of mine is Marks Hall, but they just do the adult 5K on the Saturdays. Some local races that are upcoming. We have Ipswich Twilight 5K, Sunday 3rd of May at Ipswich Waterfront. Waves for all abilities on a scenic 2-lap looped course right by the water. And that's organised by Ipswich Jaffa. You can enter via my.raceresult.com. And then another local event right on our doorsteps is the Whittam Mayday 10 Mile. And that's on Monday the 4th of May. And it's a bank holiday, just so you know. That starts at Whittam Rugby Club at 10 a.m. It's a scenic road race heading out through the surrounding villages before finishing back at the rugby club, and that's organised by Whittam Running Club. Entry for that is £23 affiliated and £25 non-affiliated. On the day you can enter, it's £30. And now our medals for all finishers, you can check out whittamrc.org.uk for full details. And then heading back to more cycling. I got into cycling because I couldn't run for an injury. So, most of last year I was watching and participating in cycling events. So, sorry if cycling's not your thing, but Tuesdays, every Tuesday evening they run a crit league at Colchester Sports Park. Crit racing is like a closed circuit. It's quite aggressive. It's quite a tactical race. It's not, they're not going as fast as they can the whole time. There's a lot of tactics that go into that. I'm still learning about it myself, and I do hope to get down there on some Tuesday evenings with a couple of friends soon. But like as I said, they take place at Colchester Sports Park, which is a fast, exciting, closed road racing circuit suitable for various categories. There are frequent or regular time trials for cyclists, and I believe most of them are on Tuesday evenings. I think Hadley CC do one. Malden and District CC, they offer a TT, and Chomps would also do a TT, and I believe that's over like by High Easter, over that area. These types of races are perfect for testing your pace over a flat Essex road. So you can look up CTT for the calendar, but there is a website for all of the time trials for cycling. Community Spotlight. Big local news. The Galloping Grind in Boreham has reopened for the 2026 season. This is brilliant. The outdoor cycling and running cafe, set up in a quirky horse box, pondside views, is the perfect stop for coffee, cake, or a recovery snack after your ride or run. They offer 20% off for anyone arriving by foot or by bike. So I got chatting to Dom, the founder of the Galloping Grind, recently, and I've managed to get her on here for a little chat. So let's dive in. Can you tell me a little bit about your background, please?
So, as a kid, I was always a good sprinter. So a good, sort of 100 metres, 200 metres runner. I used to love going out on my bike around the trails. We'd spend like all day just out on our bikes. Nothing competitive, just really enjoyed doing it. And then I got to my teens and my 20s, discovered alcohol and smoking and boys, and kind of took a bit of a back burner really, and then restarted mainly the cycling in my early 30s and just kind of got hooked again. Absolutely fell in love with it. And then I met a girl called Donna, who I met on a sportif, and I started sitting on her wheel because I was really struggling in this particular sportif. So I started sitting on her wheel thinking, right, I'll just take it easy behind this girl. And little did I know she was this like proper hardcore endurance athlete. And she got me signed up to doing all sorts of things that I didn't think were humanly possible, like let alone think that I could do them. So yeah, that little free ride I was after turned into quite a hard graft for many years to come.
So that got you hooked on endurance sports?
Yeah, definitely. It would start by me saying to her, like, so how far do you have to run again? And what was the swim like? And asking all those questions, honestly believing I had no intention of doing them, but you just kind of build it in your head, and then bit by bit you think, maybe I could do it. Maybe I could give this a go. And before you know it, you've signed up to all sorts.
So you got into running, cycling. Have you done a triathlon?
Yeah, so my first marathon was actually the Ironman marathon. So I could swim, but I wasn't the best swimmer. I took swimming lessons in my 30s, learned how to crawl. In a way, I'm glad I hadn't ever done a marathon, because doing a marathon is hard. And had I have known how hard it was, I never would have signed up to Ironman. But the reason that I signed up to it was the year before I had gone to watch Donna do Ironman Bolton, and the atmosphere was just electric. It was just absolutely incredible. And you'd see people coming across the finish line who were fat, who were, people that you would not expect to be able to do an Ironman. And yeah, so I signed up, trained for longer than what most people do, because I was so worried that I wasn't going to get to the end. I think I was in training for about 10 months for that. But yeah, so yeah, done a few triathlons since. And every year we do one in a little fishing village in Spain called Tossa. And it's a sleepy little fishing village. And once a year, it just turns into this mad party weekend where they literally, party on the streets. You get to the end and they give you a can of beer. It's fantastic. And that's one that I try and do every September.
Nice. as I introduced, so you're the founder of the Galloping Grind. Can you tell me what is the Galloping Grind?
So it's a little seasonal coffee and cake stop. It started off mainly for cyclists. It kind of grew as a bit of a hub for ramblers, runners, and it serves amazing coffee. So I'm an ex-bike mechanic, and so I've got all the tools. And I've got a little workshop there, which I encourage people to, use the tools to fix their own bikes. We run maintenance courses from there every month. We do a couple of trail runs from there. But yeah, it's like a community hub, and it's people that turn up on their own always end up getting chatting to people. It's just a real nice, friendly place. And to be honest, I can't really take the credit for it. It's what other people have made it. I just kind of supplied the venue and the coffee, and the people there are amazing. I've not had any crappy people there. Everyone has been really friendly, really nice. It's been great.
Brilliant. What gave you the idea to open this up? Was it a specific ride, a frustrating coffee stop, or a long training session, or a light bulb moment that made you think, I need to build this?
It was always a pipe dream. So it had always been something that I'd wanted to do, because for me, the main reason I go out on my bike is for the coffee and cake and the social aspect of it. And every time I stop somewhere, I think, I wish this place had this, or, I've used my spare inner tube. I wish I could get a spare inner tube from somewhere, or, the weather's not done as it was meant to do, so now your feet are wet, and I think, I wish I had a, fresh pair of socks. So I just kind of, always thought of things that I would do if I had my own place. And yeah, I just slowly put them together. And, we've got a little shop there that sells emergency bits. It sells some bits that, it sells all sorts, it really is a kind of little Aladdin's cave of all sorts of gifts and tools and practical stuff. So yeah, that's kind of, it was many rides that inspired it.
And the choice of location, Boreham, the quiet lanes around Damasis Lane.
That was complete fluke. So originally I was from Hertfordshire, and I did mobile mechanics with a guy there. And the plan was he was going to retire. I was going to buy the mobile mechanics business off of him. And then I met Matt, my husband, and I moved to Boreham. So I was still my plan was to still continue to do the mobile mechanics. Paul was going to be like my mentor. Unfortunately, he passed away. He was only 60. He had a short battle with cancer, and it kind of changed my plans, really. So I worked in a few bike shops after that doing the mechanics, and I just never really got that bond that I had with Paul. I never, we had such a good laugh together, and I never really got that. So I wrote to the council one day and said, I'm thinking of opening this like coffee stop for passing cyclists. We're on like a national cycle network, so it's a perfect place for cyclists. They're always coming past. What do you think? And they were like, yeah, what a great idea. Do it. You don't need planning permission for that. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's how I got the ball rolling, and then ended up buying a pink horse box.
In terms of like the cafe and the grounds and how it's laid out, please could you describe it to us?
So we originally had a pond there, and it was 30 metres by 20 metres, and it had dried up. It was a lined pond. There was a hole in the liner. It had completely dried up. There was brambles. It was just a complete waste ground. So we filled half of it in and relined the other half. And because I'd always had this pipe dream in my head of, wouldn't it be nice to open this little coffee stop? It kind of looked like the perfect place. It's in the countryside. There's a beautiful pond there, and it was like a no-brainer. It was like, this would be absolutely perfect. It's got everything. It's got the shade. It's got a separate little driveway. We're not on the main sewage here. We've got a thing called a Clargester, so we could hook up a toilet that's in a shed, and we hooked that up to the Clargester. So it was like I said, it was just complete fate that it happened to be here.
So cyclists, when they head over to you, could you just explain when they arrive, your setup for how they can store their bikes and, seating area and all of that?
So we've got the bike rack, which is like the sort of bike rack you'll see at a triathlon, where you can hook your saddle over it's actually a scaffold pole with the scaffold balls down the side. We've got a helmet rack there. And then there's we've just got some new recycled plastic picnic benches, and we've got a gazebo and a few parasols, or there's places in the sun. There's little benches around the pond. It's all very outdoorsy and shabby chic type. So yeah, there's a shower there for anyone we had a few people last summer where it was so hot and they just kind of stick their head under the shower. We did have one guy stripped down to his underwear and get in the shower. So it's set up for cyclists, and it's something that, if somebody suggests something, I'm more than happy to put it in. I'm more than happy to implement it.
What do you feel that the Galloping Grind offers, like cyclists and runners and like active people?
Community. First and foremost, it is the community. It's like I say, people come in, they'll chat to other people. I've got a board up, which is like a leaderboard. Whoever's cycled the furthest, and it's got a magnetic map on it, so you put your little point where you've come from. It's got we do specialty coffee there. So when I first started, I'm a real coffee snob, and I knew what coffee I liked. I like it out of a particular cup. I like it at a particular temperature. It has to be perfect. And I opened this place, or had plans to open this place, and discovered that I actually had no idea how to make good coffee. I knew what good coffee tasted like. So I ended up doing a week-long course in a place called the Espresso Academy in Florence, where they teach you all about coffee extraction. There's a real science to it. It really does. You could really go down a wormhole finding out about coffee and, how to get the best out of it. But it also taught you how to service the machines. I mean, a commercial coffee machine is not cheap, and you have to have them serviced every 6 months. Again, it's not cheap. So I took the course so I could do it myself. Being mechanically minded, I was.
Yeah.
It was it was more. I was more nosy more than anything. I'm like, how does this work, and how does that thing do that? And so it's been a real kind of it's been such a learning curve, in terms of you've got to learn about all the allergies, all the various stuff that the EHO want you to know. Street trading licenses, public liability, employers liability. It's so many things that I've had to kind of learn, which I hadn't foreseen, and I'm glad I hadn't, because I might not have started if I knew how much was involved.
Yeah, it would have been quite overwhelming, I imagine.
Definitely, yeah.
So you mentioned this leaderboard. What is the furthest someone has cycled to you so far?
So this year we've only been open, this will be our third weekend. So at the moment we're on 65 miles, which, is a long distance, but I'm pretty sure there'll be, people that will have cycled much further. And our leader for the walkers board, he was actually a runner, and he was last weekend. Again, this is only like the third weekend now. He was 14.4 miles. So yeah, we've got a few pages of the runners and the cyclists.
I wouldn't beat that. I only live 10 miles away from you, so.
Yeah, but you could do a loop.
Oh, does that count?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I could, what? So I could do a 100-mile loop, turn up to
Yep.
and then and show you my Strava and say, right.
You've got name, and then it's miles from home, and then it's total miles today.
Oh, okay. The challenge is accepted.
Brilliant. See you for coffee.
And flapjack.
Yeah, and flapjack, of course.
So you briefly mentioned about the challenges, but I did have this written down just to ask you, like, you know, what were the challenges of turning the horse box into a countryside cafe, and, you know, any other hurdles that you might have faced along the way?
It's been a constant since I started the idea. There's been a constant list of things to do, but the biggest challenge, so I mentioned the council said what a fabulous idea it was and we didn't need planning permission. And in the August, so I'd put a lot of time, effort and money into it. And then in the August, they sent an email to tell me that I had evolved and I now needed planning permission. And I hadn't done anything different to what I said I was going to do. But in all fairness, they were concerned that I was going to turn the place into a Starbucks and there was going to be Arctic lorries driving down the lane. You know, I can see their cause for concern because it really grew in popularity. They looked on the Facebook page, they'd seen the followers on the Instagram and said, right, you know, we need to. So then I had to get planners and architects and just really argue the case that this is not about making money. This is not about, you know, getting people over to get, you know, to get the footfall. I don't want loads of people. I just want my kind of people. I want cyclists. So we do a 20% discount for people who arrive by foot or by bike. And yeah, all the socials I try and keep as, you know, as outdoorsy as I can, where you'll see a lot of coffee shops will, you know, boast about their fancy latte art and what have you. You know, here it's just, yeah, it's good coffee, but how far have you cycled to get here? You know,
so the emphasis is on the journey to the
definitely. So I had 5-star reviews on Google last year when we first opened up, and I got my first 4-star review, which I was really disappointed about because it wasn't 5. And it was somebody that said, yeah, it's a lovely place, but it's more geared up for cyclists. And it did make me laugh.
That helps your cause, doesn't it?
It's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's the whole point. But then, of course, my Google rating went down to 4.9 or whatever it was. But yeah, so it was quite ironic that, you know, I got a bad review. Well, not bad, but I didn't get a 5-star review because I'm aiming at cyclists.
I think that's a really... It's a really good review, actually, because you can show the council.
yeah, it's
a perfect example of what the cafe is or what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is good. Personal participation today with the cafe up and running. Do you still get out there and enjoy your endurance sessions yourself, such as like the big rides, local runs, or triathlons?
So the reason I open at 10 o'clock on a Saturday is so I can do parkrun. Parkrun to me it's quite important. It's so good for your mental health. It's good for socialising. The only trouble is I do have to do it within 25 minutes or I don't get back in time to open up. So there's a bit of pressure because that's a fairly quick time for me. So Sundays I had been opening up at 10 o'clock because I wanted to do my long Sunday run. That kind of went by the wayside, and then instead of doing my long Sunday run, I started doing my barefoot running, started focusing more on speed work. So I hadn't done any long runs as such that I kind of saved to the winter. I'm not I do slow down a lot in the summer in terms of running. I'm much more of a winter runner. And then on a Tuesday, we're not open on a Tuesday. I last year I had to force myself to go out on the bike, because if I didn't, I would have just done jobs at Galloping Grind. I would have been painting or cutting or building, or I would have been doing something, and the list of jobs never ends. So you really have to kind of say to yourself, right, I am going out on my bike today. I don't care what I'm not completing, but I'm going out on my bike.
It's really important.
Definitely, and I plan to do that again this year. I've actually pulled my calf at the moment, so I won't be park running because I'm not going to get round in 25 minutes with a torn calf. But yeah, Tuesday I'll be out on my bike all day.
Which park run is your park run of choice?
I'm kind of in the middle here, so I'm in between Chelmsford and Malden. Chelmsford is a little bit closer, but it's such a busy park run that the start is quite slow, and when you get to the end you have to queue to get your token. So Malden, although it's further, because you get started quicker, and once you finish you can get straight back home, so it's between the two of them. So in distance Chelmsford is closer, but Malden I'll get back at the same time as if I went to Chelmsford.
There's a new one in Writtle as well now. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've done it. I've done the very first one because they announced it on the Friday evening at like 8:00.
Really?
So I was like, I've got to do it. I think I don't know if they've already started their summer course now or if they're starting it this week, but that's in the pipeline because the winter course is a double out and back. So the path isn't that wide. So it's not ideal.
Is that is the Writtle one like where the horse stables are and things like that?
Yeah,
Cool.
it's
so it's like part of the like near where they do the cross country.
Yeah. So in the summer course is actually around the pond or the lake. I'm not sure what they call it, but the actual winter one it is so double out and back. What does that make it? About just over 1 kilometre every stretch.
Yeah.
So you can imagine where it's a path and it's a little bit of mud on the side. It can get a bit cozy.
Yeah. One year when they hosted the cross country there, the Essex League's cross country, someone did slip down the bank and go into the lake while they were doing cross country.
I mean, that is one of the good things with cross country, though. I mean, that's one of the things I love about cross country is you don't care about time. You just care about keeping upright. That's all that matters. You've just got to keep upright.
It's
great fun.
It's like it's just a race, isn't it? Just like carnage. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love cross country.
I've done. So I did a cross country race, not last season, the season before, and then that was the moment that I realised that I had to stop running. That was like, it was soul destroying. I got about a mile in and I couldn't barely walk, let alone run. And then I went back to do, I think I did 1 or 2 in the winter this year, and I got through both of them at sensible pace, slowly like coming back, but at least there's it was a better feeling than the one where I couldn't finish it, because the one that I didn't finish was only about 4 months after I'd done like a 250 marathon, and then my foot was just in such a bad way. So the cross country is, I always, if you wear good footwear or even the barefoots, if you're brave enough, cross country is such a good workout for your body. Obviously, it's less impact, and the changes that your foot land is really healthy for your ankles as well.
Yeah, and also Essex has some really good cross country. So you've got the Benfleet 15 that's on around January time. That's great fun. I mean, this year it was so muddy. It was unbelievable. I mean, my shoes, I had some mud claws on. They were tied up so tight, and I still lost them twice. Just the mud, because it's such clay soil in Essex. It just sucked them off. It was, and then because I'd done them up so tight, I had real trouble getting them back on again both times. But yeah, they've got some great courses around here. You've got I'm not sure if Essex is Epping still in Essex. The Orion,
yeah,
you've got the Orion.
yeah.
That's a good course as well. You've got some good cross country courses in Essex.
What just scooting back to park runs, what's your favourite park run that you do? Have you?
It's got to be Yarmouth. It's got to be the most memorable. Have you ever done Great Yarmouth?
No, I've heard is that the one that's the toughest?
It's on sand. It's on soft sand, and it's flat. So everybody kept saying how tough it was, and I couldn't understand why it was so tough. I know you go on sand, but it's flat. How can anything that's flat be tough? Anyway, it was a really interesting thing here. So Donna, my crazy endurance friend, I'm a much faster runner than her.
Yeah.
But she does a lot of hiking. She does a lot of long distance, long distance running. She does a lot of hiking, a lot of mountain climbing, and I'm more of a sprinter. And we both did Yarmouth Park Run, and it's 2 laps. About 3/4 of the way around the first lap, she's chatting away to me, and I couldn't talk. I couldn't breathe. It was so tough. It was really, really draining. And I just had to say to her, like, oh, you got to stop talking to me. Like, I can't do this. And she kicked my ass. She was on fire. And it just shows you that whatever muscles you use for hiking and mountain climbing, you also use for running on sand. So yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. No, it was. It was incredible.
What's your favourite cross country course?
Oh, does Morden Mud Run count?
Have you done that?
Yeah, I've done it in my wedding dress. We got married in the morning and then done the Morden Mud Run in the wedding gear.
Did that hit the press?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you know what? I think I might have seen that now you've mentioned it. And so I wasn't aware that it was you, and it's so good that we've mentioned it now.
So if you Google Matt and Dom Mud Run, then yeah, you get pictures from, I think, a Daily Telegraph done one, and yeah, it was quite. It wasn't planned to be big news. I mean, obviously it was because it's not something you do every day. Yeah, it's quite. I'm quite lucky, really, that the husband does kind of encourage my quirkiness. I mean, if you met him, he goes to work in a suit and tie. He comes across as very kind of straight-laced and normal, but he does encourage the quirkiness. So I built him a Dalek for an anniversary out of a compost bin and whisks and bowls, and he then got a motion sensor, voice activated thing in the Dalek voice that says "Welcome to the Galloping Grind" every time you walk past it. It's awesome.
At least you know that someone's entering. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really good. It acts as a really good doorbell, and yeah, that was actually his making that. But like I say, if you met him, you'd never think that he was married to me. You'd think he was married to someone normal.
Did you keep a copy of the newspaper when you was in it?
Yeah, well, the mother-in-law actually got one framed for us, so we've actually got one in the hallway.
I was going to say that. Yeah, that's good. It's got to be done.
Yeah.
You said that you've ran like marathon as well. Have you?
Yeah, so I done Darlington a few weeks back, and I had originally signed up. So I can only do big stuff between September and April because I've got the Galloping Grind and I'm open all weekend, and marathons are on at the weekend. A lot of them don't start till April, so I'd signed up to one in March and my training had gone really well. So I thought, do you know what? I've just entered a new age group. I would like to try and get a decent time because I've done Ironman marathons, I've done ultras, I'd done trails, but I'd never actually done like just a road marathon for a good time. So I then signed up to Darlington. So it's on a race, a motocross course. So it's flattish, tarmac, perfect. And I thought, right, I'm gonna really try and go for a good time here. So turned up, it was March, and there was 36-mile-an-hour winds. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And then I got to the end, and I ended up with hypothermia because my temperature had gone down to 32 degrees. So of course they gave me the foil blanket, and it was, they wouldn't let me leave until it had gone up to 35. And it was it was a really good run though. It was really good. It was a small event, and a lot of people. There was a lot of different races on that day, so a lot of people bowed, which meant that I came first lady. So I was very chuffed.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, like when weather is like that, sometimes you just have to take the result, don't you?
Yeah. I thought, well, before I started, I thought I'm not getting a sub-4 here because there's no way, it's impossible. And I actually done really well. And every time I looked at my watch, I was going, is it 9:09 to get sub-4? And I was going over that. But so then when we got to the bit that wasn't headwind, I really kind of pushed myself. The trouble was there was no tailwind because you have one straight section, which was the headwind, and then the rest of it to get back to that part, because it was a lapped event, was all round corners. It was all side wind.
Yeah.
There was no points where there was tailwind. It was, it was like, my own fault for, trying to be clever and get a flat marathon. Well, I got a flat marathon, but 36-mile-an-hour winds. It was like running on the spot at times.
Boston UK Marathon got a similar thing on Sunday, so they had up to 26 or 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Was that the Sunday just gone?
Yeah, and so they were saying
look at that one. That's the racetrack as well, isn't it?
No, that's look, it's in Boston, and it's practically like the flattest like county in England, and it's just
I definitely did see that when I was looking
fields. I think like that's all that surrounds it. But I did my fastest ever half there, and I got away with it. And it was quite windy, but and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. That's the only hazard of signing up to one like that, where it's so flat that the wind is a risk. But Boston had it bad on Sunday, and I was just about to say, imagine going through a whole training camp or a training plan for 12 to 14 weeks or 16 weeks, and then get into race day. You've done your taper, and then that's in front of you. I know. I say imagine it, but you know what it's like.
So we're done. So for my 20-mile training run, a friend of mine from Cheshunt came over, and we done laps of Earl's Cone. And that, I think it's like 4 miles, and we done 20 miles in total. And it was snowing, it was wind, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And then when I finished Darlington, I texted him and I said, like, the weather, it was, 36-mile-an-hour winds. He said, who would have thought that day actually, done us proud, because, it trained us for it. That's exactly what it was like.
Earl's Cone airfield is brilliant for that. I do most of my running friends do their bigger sessions on there, and I do my cycle sessions on there.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is exposed, and it can be quite windy over there, but it's like we all say, you can just go over there and just switch off and just lock in.
Did you know that they are now stopping you, pulling you over, and telling you got to wear high vis now?
I didn't know that.
I heard the rumours.
Yeah. What, so because it's airside kind of thing? Is that?
Yeah, I know. But I'm guessing because it's quite a popular place for runners and cyclists, that the security pulled us over, and he said, you can't run here unless you've got high vis on. Luckily, I had heard that beforehand, so I had some in the car, and then on the next lap, I just put some high vis on. But they pull you up now, and
there you go. There's some news that not many people may have known.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've most of my running club friends, they all train down there, and obviously they would have all done their bigger stuff now, but obviously they'll still probably be using it over the summer if they.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great place to go and train, and you have the Essex golf course. That is it called the Essex there?
Yeah.
So that's obviously like you've got toilet facilities and things like that there as well. And you get to look at the planes as you go around, and there's a helicopter there. It's a good place.
And there's a speed camera as well, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I've not managed to do it on my bike yet.
Limit was. Yeah, no, careful on your bike. Then, yeah.
Okay. Why should people come to see you at the Galloping Grind?
Because I can talk the legs off a donkey. It's amazing coffee. It's specialty coffee. The cakes, well, I'd done a hell of a lot of research. It was a really hard job having to eat all these cakes.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
When I first started, I was like, I'll just buy anything. And then as I kind of put my heart and soul into it, I was like, no, I'm not having that. That's not good enough. And it's got to be this. It's got to be that. And it's yeah. I mean, like I keep saying, it's the community of it. It's just so. It's so nice that we get a lot of walkers from the local villages come in, and I do free puppuccinos, which is like a lactose-free cream, and I've got these miniature dog bowls.
Yeah.
And I put the cream in and put the little dog biscuits on, and then I've got a little like Polaroid camera. So I take a picture of them, put them on we've got like a portrait gallery, so their picture goes on there. And I've now got dogs that when they come in, they come straight up to the horse box and just sit down and all polite because they want their puppuccino. They're so cute. It is absolutely adorable. But I mean, we've always got things advertised there, whether it's, we've got the maintenance courses that we run, but we've also got a guy that puts on runs from there. He's with the Trail Running Association. So it's a nice place to relax. And I'm more than happy to take requests if there's, anything that people want in particular. I have a group that comes over. They're called the Heavy Metal Cycling Club. And when they first informed me that they wanted to come over, he said, is it all right if I bring some beers over? I haven't got a license, so I don't sell alcohol. And he said, I just want to drop me call box off. And then, when we come for, something to eat tomorrow, you grab my call box. I suppose so. I don't know. I mean, Anyway, I expected them all to rock up in their, tattoos and, levers. And the first one walks around the corner and he says, can I have a skinny oat latte, please? Skinny oat decaf latte. I was expecting like bacon sandwiches and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, I'll have a vegan toasty, please."
Oh, what is it? Is that profile? Is that profiling where you like?
Yeah. Oh, totally. I totally stereotyped them. I was like, well, because I mean, you go on their Facebook page and it is like heavy metal, and I actually went out with them when I closed Galloping Grind for the season. I went out on a couple of rides with them, and they were great. They were really good, and you don't have to know about heavy metal. I mean. I think I threw AC/DC in a couple of times in the conversation, but, it's, they're just a really nice group of guys that you can imagine would probably, tearaways in their younger years. But no, just a nice group. I say guys, there's a few girls in there as well. It's, really good they let anyone join up. You can, look them up on socials, and they've got there's some of them in Essex. There's some of them, I think, South London. They're scattered all over the show. But yeah, they're a good group of people.
Brilliant. It's been really good to talk. And before you go, could you just let us or remind us of the opening times and your location?
So we're Damasis Lane. It's actually quite difficult to find us unless you know where we are. But we're about 300 metres on the left on Damasis Lane. There's a big Land's End to John O'Groats sign out the front. There's a giant Cheshire cat with his hand pointing in the right direction. There's two big yellow bikes, a great big pink horse box, but people are still saying they can't find us. It is a residential property, so I think it throws a lot of people who do arrive by car. We've got room for about 15, 20 parking spaces, and people who do arrive by car, the first time they come, they always walk up to the horse box and they say, "I've parked in front of that house. Is that okay?" I'm like, yeah. The big sign that says parking, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Open Thursday to Saturday 10 till 4, and Sundays 9 till 4, and we're also open bank holiday Mondays.
And do you class it as Boreham or Hatfield Peveril?
Our front garden's in Boreham, our back garden's in Hatfield Peveril. So
I knew it was so close to the border.
It's quite good because Hatfield Peveril had to pay for their garden waste before Boreham did. And the irony was we were getting our garden waste taken away for free, but our actual gardening waste was coming from Hatfield Peveril. So that ruffled a few feathers.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, thank you very much for talking and coming on.
Thanks for having us. It's it's lovely to talk, and you know me, I can talk forever.
So yeah, I'll pop down soon, get a flapjack, get a coffee.
Awesome. I've actually saved you some. So when I make flapjacks, I make them in a big tin, and I always cut the ends off because I make them in such a big batch.
Yeah,
the ends are a little bit crunchy, so I cut the ends off. So I've actually saved you some ends.
Great, thank you.
So you can have some of the ends. They're very chewy. Make sure you got your good teeth in.
Yeah, and it's a very good fuel for cycling or endurance.
Of course, and you can even kid yourself that flapjacks are healthy, can't you? They've got oats in.
Yeah, so yeah, well, they keep you going. They'll do something.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate.
I really enjoyed that chat with Dom. I'm definitely going to have her on as a guest in the near future because I am so interested just to see how far someone will cycle or run just for some coffee or cake. That's it for this episode of the show. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, leave a rating or review. It really helps the show grow. And send in any race reports in-motion.club. Next week, we'll have full coverage of the London Marathon, plus more local action. Until then, keep moving, stay strong, and I'll see you on the roads, trails or the cobbles.